Guess what? We're still in the intro. Allow me to introduce you. This is Major Takano. Major, this is Dr. Kyosuke Irie. Well, if there's both Irie and Takano in the same scene, we're probably going to be from Takano's perspective, so at least we're going to see Irie. We're finally going to get a cast of portraits. There we go. Hello, I'm Irie. I forgot how my voice was. Irie seemed extremely nervous at our first meeting. He probably thought I was in charge of some suspicious organization. I mean, it's not far from the truth. Well, she's not in charge of it, but yeah, you get the idea. Please relax. Call me Takano. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. I can't remember what voice I gave to Irie, and I don't think it was ever really all that consistent anyway. Please have a seat. A model lower-middle-class citizen was a good way to describe Kyosuke Irie's demeanor. One could say he was the stereotypical type of person to get conventionally discarded after those crafty elders used their seniority to constantly pick on him. He certainly doesn't seem as cunning as I am. But that doesn't mean he isn't ambitious. Like me, he's a young person who dreams of accomplishing something great and leaving his name upon generations to come. While he acts humble in person like this, his articles were actually progressive as well as aggressive. The gap between the two was quite intense. I've read the data concerning this Hinamizawa syndrome. What did you think? Well, it's really quite the shock. It's very possible that this is something that steps on the dark side of today's medicine. But I can hardly control my intellectual excitement in knowing it's a mystery that is yet to be solved. Hearing that made me chuckle. Irie is more than interested in Hinamizawa syndrome, which is good enough for me. She had been through the ringer with far too many people to reach this day, so her honed intuition could tell. She would get along well with this man. Even if he isn't useful to me, he won't cause any problems. For both me and my sponsor, he's the best person possible for the job. I was shocked too, to imagine a man of your experience and knowledge was just wasting away in the medical office without any responsibilities or work to accomplish. I have to say that was a grave loss in the medical field. Irie laughed. He probably thought I didn't know, but I had received detailed documents on him, so I knew why he was exiled from the limelight despite his rare talent and achievements. Oh, Irie backstory now. He displayed extraordinary skill working under a neurosurgery expert, and everyone expected a bright future from him. But he was kicked out due to an ethical controversy. Irie's pet theory was that the antisocial behavior of individuals could be explained by brain disorders. He believed that no one in this world was born a villain, and that they were all just poor patients in need of treatment. He proposed that they were all proper and normal when born, yet as they matured, psychogenesis and various heterogeneous factors caused brain disorders that made them into villains. I kind of doubt he'd worded it in that way. It's like, and that makes people become villains. Therefore, what those evil people need isn't punishment, it is treatment, and if the diseases are treated, they will become good citizens again. This was a controversy. It's like, it's kind of, yeah, you kind of like, yeah, kind of understand where it's going from here. It's just like, but you know, there are some people that are just absolute shit, and no amount of treatment is going to change that for some people. But I can definitely see it in quite a few, yeah. Man, I think it actually fell in line with the convention belief of innate human goodness. According to this theory, humans are born with the capacity for altruism towards their kind, and it is only afterwards that they learn and acquire cruelty. Irie believed that acquisition was the result of brain disorders. I'm not 100% sure on that one, no, because I just have like the opposite kind of outlook a bit where it comes to people. It's like, now I think people are generally, well, I don't think people, like, everyone's an asshole or anything like that. I just feel like it's kind of common, in, our species to be kind of an asshole to each other and others, and so on and so forth. It feels like we're kind of dicks, to see where I'm coming from and all that. It's like we're kind of dicks, but we're not all complete, absolute wanker dicks, if that makes sense. The human brain creates human thoughts. Therefore, if one becomes emotionally ill, that means their brain is ill, so their brain gets treatment, they will recover emotionally too. That was like, one example that's a bit, could see it in that way is like racism. Racism doesn't seem like it'd be something that's, inherent, obviously. That's something learned. Because I don't see how that would really work, honestly, any other way. That field was called psychosurgery. It's fallen out of practice in the current Heisei era, but the surgical practices were employed until mid-Showa. Especially since it produced spectacular results on a chronic medical patient that was said to be incurable. The man who invented it even won a Nobel Prize. Is this what I think it is? That was how revolutionary it was. Humans think that's why they become ill. That's why you put an ice pick in their brain and it all goes to shit. Everyone knows that's why those who overthink matters are prone to mental illness. And the organ that thinks and debates grow ill, humans deviate from social behavior. That part is called the frontal lobe. Put simply, psychosurgery is surgery performed to cut the frontal lobe. This kind of surgery doesn't require removing the whole cranium. A small hole is drilled for the cranium through the eye, if I recall. A special scalpel is inserted down to cut it. It's not a major surgery, just a technique for quickly cutting the precious frontal lobe. I mean, that just doesn't really, maybe at the time they obviously were like, yeah, this is genius, you've done it. The patient is no longer, well, they're kind of not really doing a lot of anything, really, but congratulations, you've solved one problem and created another. Bravo! Indeed, it was revolutionary in its simplicity. Just, tap at the brain a little bit. What could possibly go wrong? All the severely ill mental patients miraculously recovered, so the technique spread around the world quickly. It's like, hey, these people, they're no longer mentally ill, they've become vegetables. That's better, right? Those are obstinate and chronic mental illnesses. The severely ill, trapped in deep inescapable depression. Oh, those could be saved by this technique. Throughout history, humans have come up with many different religions and magic tricks to heal emotional injuries. So needless to say, the idea of being able to treat them with a surgical technique was truly revolutionary. I could kind of see how they're like, various surgeries have worked on many things, but I think the brain is kind of very, 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 very delicate. Says the brain, because that's pretty much that's where it all is, isn't it? According to the brain is the most important organ. Yeah, the brain is an organ, right? Or am I just being stupid? I'm gonna double check if I'm being an idiot. So another moment. Yeah, it is an organ. I'm just kind of like... It's like I'm an idiot and not an idiot at the same time, because I was right. Yeah, it is an organ. But I was stupid at the same time for thinking, is it though? Irie admired psychosurgery and pushed forward in the field of surgical techniques to treat human souls. However, from the modern human rights standpoint, severing a portion of the brain simply because someone is emotionally disturbed is absolutely out of the question. People gradually started thinking differently and said that psychosurgery was inhumane. The frontal lobe controls how people think, but it's also the part that makes humans act human. There were quite a few cases where that cut caused drastic, irreversible changes in the patient. I think a few cases would be kind of underselling it. A baseless happiness born from lack of thought. A change in personality, or perhaps no personality at all, really. A loss of interest in everything. Major mood swings due to a lack of control over one's emotions. Some even lost part of their memories. Of course, some didn't even survive the surgery. As the Showa era approached its 40th year, use of psychosurgery declined. Also due to development of psychotropic medicine, the surgery was hardly performed anymore anyway. Yet some people still believed in the idea and continued to perform the surgery and gather clinical data. They wanted people to recognize the value of the technique once again. Some of those surgeries were performed without consent. One fears that in Japan alone there were thousands of people who woke up from general anesthesia only to find part of their brain had been removed. It's like, oh jeez, something feels a bit off here. It's like, yeah, we removed half your brain. You what? Today, to perform such a surgery out of patient's consent is considered totally unethical, but it was different at the time. No shit unethical. I mean, could you imagine that? Just like, we're just gonna do surgery, don't mind it. We removed half your brain. What the fuck did you do that for? For one thing, the idea that doctors require prior patient consent was proliferated in the modern Heisei era. Therefore, people at the time didn't think it was that big of an issue. It was only that people started to argue that it was inhumane. Finally, the decision was reached and the curtain closed with the rejection of psychosurgery. Later, the Japanese Society of Psychology and Neurology passed their resolution to end psychosurgery. After that, psychosurgery was banned throughout Japan and made a forbidden subject of Japanese medicine. Elsewhere. Irie was the leading person in the field of psychosurgery. He continued to advocate its effectiveness and results. Therefore, he was treated as a war criminal who practiced inhumane medicine, and he was exiled from the public eye. So, he gave a bunch of lobotomies then. However, that doesn't mean he changed his beliefs. He still believes that immoral behavior is caused by brain disorders. The secret of treating them is, in fact, hidden in the brain. Yeah, maybe so, but I don't think poking the brain is a solution. So the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome caused by parasites living in the brain that controlled human emotions actually affirms his theory. Maybe this is Irie. If it's alright with you, I would love to accept this position. Of course, given Irie's history, he would never turn down this offer. Despite his mild-mannered appearance, Irie was possessed of a mighty ambition. There is no way he didn't desire a chance to complete research that would prove himself to the medical society that ostracized him. I'm handing him that chance on a silver platter. It's like, he means well, but, the whole psychosurgery thing, yeah, that's a no-no. Okay. Thank you very much. I knew you'd accept. We are very lucky to have an expert like you. You'll be a great help. But are you okay with me being the director? Would it be better for you to hold that position, Takano-san? I'm just a simple doctor. Being in charge of other people is... Don't worry, I'll give you my full support. Our sponsor wanted to pick a civilian. Besides, wouldn't you like to be called Director Irie? Maybe if maids are involved, then Takano will be like, okay, maybe I've changed my mind, get another person. Irie laughed to hide his embarrassment. We're building a research center in Hinamizawa. Publicly, it will be a clinic. So with your consent, Dr. Irie, we'd like to call it the Irie Clinic. Lord of my own castle. That's more than I deserve. You're to be placed under the STF, so you'll be registered as a medical officer with them. Since you'll be my superior, you'll be a Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Irie. How does that sound to you? I'm not a military man. I'd rather refrain from being called Lieutenant Colonel. Director is already a frightening title as is. Oh my. He's getting a chance to research brain parasites, plus being given the title of director of a new clinic as camouflage. Plus it comes with staff and funding. He'll even have support from the Defense Agency and the Ministry of Health and Welfare, as well as a research lab with state-of-the-art equipment. No wonder he's laughing so excitedly. However, there are some risks too. Since he'll be involved with his secret research, he has an obligation to keep it secret. Also, he's going to an area plagued by mysterious and bizarre disease. There's no guarantee he won't contract it himself. But Irie is too young to even think about those things. Aware of all the risk, he quickly signed a contract with the ambition to have people recognize his talent once again. When I saw him sign the contract, I finally relaxed. I knew he would agree to join us, but at the same time, I was afraid of the chance that he'd refuse. Selecting a director proved more difficult than expected, and the only candidate Takano paired well with was Irie. So if Irie refused to take a position, then frankly, she'd be placed in an even worse situation. Now that Irie has agreed to take the position, research on Hinamizawa syndrome can finally begin. The research center, or rather the clinic, will be completed next spring. The Ministry of Health and Welfare and the Defense Agency will send the best equipment and staff, plus an abundant supply of funds. And finally our research will begin in earnest. Everything is going well. Of course it is. I put so much effort into making sure things went smoothly up to this point. Okay, that's it. Congratulations, Director Irie. Major, the contract has been signed. Major, the contract has been signed. This is probably someone that came along with her. Thank you. I look forward to working with you, Director Irie. I look forward to working with you too, Takano-san. I hope we can get along. I'll be devoting my best effort to this. No, thank you. Let's both give our best. Now the position of director has been filled. Everything is set. And the moon out in the sky, looking big as always. That's great, just great. Congratulations, Takano-san. No, Major Takano, isn't it? Yay, Takano, you don't get this freaking upbeat drum thing. This is the we're gonna save Sadako, music. You're not allowed that, especially because of what she ultimately ends up on to do. That's all possible thanks to your assistance. I must give my thanks to all. Oh, don't mention it. But we should save our congratulations until you finish your research, You're only at the starting line, aren't you? Exactly. I'll be devoting my every waking moment to this research. But I can hardly wait to see the results of what Takano couldn't finish. Well now, Sensei, let's not talk about business today. Let's have a toast to congratulate Takano-san and the Irie Institute. Hello everyone, I'm Nagata from the Ministry of Health and Welfare. I would like to say a few things before the toast. Takano-san, make sure he works hard, okay? His research center will be supporting the Institute. If you need any technical support, just call him. Make him work hard. No, I have to thank you for your support. I'm Takano. Pleased to meet you. Understand, let me introduce you to these gentlemen. Meet Tomitake-kun and Oganagi-kun from the Self-Defense Force, and that's how they come into the plot. They're your backup from the SDF. I'll let them introduce themselves. Nice to meet you, I'm Tomitake. I've been commanded to serve as an auditor of this project. I look forward to working with you. Funding for our research is largely coming from the SDF. It's only natural for the SDF to assign a watchdog to make sure reasonable research is taking place. However, someone in a position like that should be my opponent. Why would someone in that position invite this private party? Does that mean this auditor is on my side too? Well, you're going to be dating him eventually, probably not too long after this. Seeing that thorough groundwork, I couldn't help but feel the strength of having a sponsor all over again. I won't be staying in Hinamizawa. I'll only come by routinely to check on the progress of the research. Oh, that's too bad. Hinamizawa is a beautiful place with clean air. Please come visit us anytime outside of work, too. Thank you. I guess I will. If he really is an auditor, I should maintain a good relationship with this man. He'll hold the key to all future adjustments of our funding so long as we continue drawing it from the SDF. Holy shit! He actually has a character portrait! I wasn't expecting that. I thought I can't even remember if he had a character portrait in the original. I think maybe he did. He's got green hair. Let's see what he actually looks like in the original art style. Where's the original art style? That nose. Oh, no. I'm Oganagi. Nice to meet you. He's the commanding officer of the Mountain Dogs, one of our unconventional warfare units. They'll be stationed in Hinamizawa to provide you direct support, Major. Should I consider you my bodyguard, then? The principal duty is guarding VIPs and preserving secrets. Think of them as your hands and feet and work them hard. Thank you. Tomitake seems to be an honest type for a military man, but this Oganagi person looks like the complete opposite. Yeah, he's like more like... I mean, they're not even being subtle with his, appearance there. It's like, friendly! I will freaking slit your fucking throat if you fucking get out of that, bitch! Like, this guy looks mean. Friendly guy. Mean guy. His main job is to preserve secrets, but I bet he's also good with espionage tactics like counterintelligence and information control. With a look like that, it makes it all the more mind-boggling that he's able to actually, fool people into believing, like, oh yeah, he's like part of a gardener or some shit, remember that? Well, maybe he just sent out, like, part of the other members of the Mountain Dogs. Because he just doesn't look like he'd have, like... I mean, even Rika was like, can I trust him? And she even had her doubts and all that, and he's like, he doesn't look like the most trustworthy. Like, for Takano, I suppose. What she's doing and all that. But, it's like, I don't know. Counterintelligence information that would explain his The CSTF is funding our research on Hinamizawa syndrome. Of course, this is considered a military operation. Therefore, this research has to be done in secret. That's why a unit like this is necessary. Besides, it's very reassuring to have someone capable of combat working under me. I should maintain a good relationship with him too. Okay, enough introductions. Come on, Tomitake-kun, you can relax too. Let's put aside our ranks today and have a toast. While this is supposed to celebrate the establishment of the Irie Institute, Irie himself isn't here. But that is his job after all. Irie is simply a puppet to fill a seat. Of course I expect him to help me a little with his expertise, but he's ultimately an outsider. It was supposed to be a gathering where I would show my appreciation to those who helped me establish the Irie Institute. Let's turn into them thanking me for all my efforts. I'm always the one to pour alcohol, fellows, but today people are pouring alcohol in my glass. The participants were trying to make me happy, and all the top people talk to me casually. They all praise my hard work and my efforts. My research is now recognized by many institutions, and I'm ready to spread my wings up and wide. All the people who are expecting some returns once the research accomplishes something are trying to curry favor with me. But right now, I'm just very grateful regardless of their motives. Let's have a toast to wish the best of luck to me, Takano-kun, and also to the new Irie Institute. Alright, Sensei, please lay the toast. It's like a dream, I know. So it's just the beginning, and I shouldn't be satisfied with this alone. But just for today, I can forget about everything else and enjoy the celebration. I'm not a heavy drinker, but a drink stays good tonight, and the more I drink, the happier I get. Ah, this really is wonderful. To be called Major by Tomitake and Ellis is wonderful too. That's the rank my grandfather had during the war. That means I've finally caught up with my grandfather. This is only the beginning. From here on, I intend to reach what my grandfather couldn't. It's the best night of my life. I ended up leaving to fix my makeup. I'm filled with elation. I need to feel fresh and calm myself down. My heart's about to explode because I'm so happy. You're so happy that you could die. The gathering is taking place a little distance away from the main building. The restroom is in the main building, so I need to walk across the hallway. Yeah. A beautiful and well-maintained Japanese garden is visible from the hallway. Wonder where this photo is from. What part of Japan? Where was it took? I don't know. It's raining. I usually don't like the rain, but I don't mind it at all today. But I feel like it. The raindrops are exactly. Yeah, congratulations, sir. It's like, yeah. Still. What she goes on to do? Fuck you, Sif. Fuck you for that. The cool air feels pleasant on my hot skin. Took me a moment to notice how unsteady my footsteps had become. Maybe I drank a little too much. It isn't like me to drink more than I can you imagine an alternative scenario where Takano tips over drunk, bashes her head on a fountain or something and dies, and so the events of Higurashi don't play out that way because she dies. He's like, well, that was a weird scenario. Although this is a party, I don't want to embarrass myself, so I decided to cool off a little by looking at a beautiful Japanese garden. Found an elegant chair, sat on a red carpet nearby, and sat down on it. So I was with the associate until now. I was forced to constantly be on guard against embarrassing myself. Now that I was alone, I could let go and relax. When I looked up the sky, I realized it's still raining hard, but in the distance horizon is a little lighter. If it wouldn't be raining for much longer, well, that's normal. Rain stops eventually, no matter how cold it is or how hard it's raining. Rain stops eventually. I saw a pair of sandals and an umbrella, almost inviting me, so I took them into the garden. The tasteless laughter coming from the party sounds far away. I tilted the umbrella and looked up to the sky. I felt the raindrops hit my face, and gazed up at the sky for a while, forgetting all about my hair getting wet. And then I thought the rain would cool down my boiling heart, but as my body got cold, I started to feel miserable. My bare feet were all swollen, and the throbbing pain I felt made them seem twice the normal size. The gravel road continued forever. I didn't even know what direction I was headed in anymore. I could no longer hear my pursuer. I'd probably lost him by running through the woods like mad. Wait, my body was covered in scratches. First, I started to feel pain from that. I felt both cold and hungry. There was no place nearby to take shelter from the rain. I was just on a little path in the woods. My worst fear was that I could end up heading back towards the orphanage. And then we just suddenly transition back to this shit. It's like, what the fuck? After bolting and losing my sense of direction, I crushed that man's finger. I didn't think I bit it off, but I was sure it would leave a scar. I mean, I did say we were gonna get back to this scene, because they wouldn't just leave us hanging on that. It'd be like, no, how the hell did she freaking get out of that? But it just comes out of nowhere. It's like, and then we're suddenly back to this. I guess she's probably thinking about this as she's walking in the rain. That's probably it. The rain reminds her of that day. So we get the transition to the rest of the orphanage scene. It's a bit freaking bizarrely based, if you ask me. Taking that into consideration, it was very clear to me that what kind of torture awaited me back in the orphanage. Therefore, I'd have to reach the House of Love and Mercy. If only it had been daytime, then I would easily have found the right way to go. Yet with this rain, there was nothing I could do. You know what? It's been nearly 2 hours. We haven't even had a word of the day. And, we'll have a word of the day, and that'll be that. This record session. Because, when it gets up to 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, the recording just stops with this record software. And besides, it's been a freaking long-ass record session anyway, so yeah. Now, what word to go? Actually, that would be a good word. Is there a word in here? Yes, it is. Mokuyo. Mokuyo? What? Is that what it's? Might be ambition. We go with ambitious though, rather than ambition. So, Yashin Takina. That's the word of the day. So with that, let's save. And I shall see you next time, viewers. See you next time.